If you've ever found yourself asking, why is it just so incredibly hard to heal after a toxic relationship, you are not alone. It's this question that so many people wrestle with, feeling completely stuck long after the relationship is supposedly over. So today, we're going to get into that.
So let's just tackle the big question head on. That slow, often agonizing recovery, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a direct result of what that relationship really was. And to get it, we really need to change how we think about what you've just been through.
You see, what you went through wasn't just a breakup, not even close. It was an escape from a really complex, deliberately designed psychological maze, one that was built to keep you confused, turned around, and feeling like you couldn't survive without the person who built it.
So first, let's pull back the curtain on the architect of all this confusion. We're going to look at the blueprint for this maze, the actual tactics the narcissist uses to trap and control you. These are the very walls and dead ends they build around you.
And look, these tactics aren't just random. They work together, creating this constant state of chaos and crisis. You get these mixed messages that are absolutely impossible to figure out. And just when you think you're getting your footing, they create a new trauma, a new drama to throw you off balance again. They will drag out the relationship to just grind you down. And all the while, they're working behind the scenes to limit your options, to make you feel like there's literally nowhere else to go.
And here's the real core of the deception. For the longest time, you honestly believe you're with a friend, a partner, an ally. You have no idea you're actually up against a manipulative enemy who's just disguised as one of the good guys. And that misunderstanding right there, that's a huge reason it takes so long to even realize you're trapped in a maze.
To keep this whole act up, the narcissist creates this alternate reality, a parallel world. It's this big production full of fantasy and spectacle and promises, and it's all designed to be way more interesting and way more confusing than the truth, keeping you hooked on a future that is never, ever gonna happen.
And of course, the whole thing is shrouded in this thick fog of gaslighting. It's just a constant stream of lies and twisted truths, all designed to make you doubt what you see, what you remember, even your own sanity. I mean, think about it. When you can't even trust your own eyes, how are you supposed to find your way out? But that's just the external maze. That's only half the battle.
Now we need to talk about the even more complicated maze, the one that gets built inside your own mind. Because all those external tactics, they create these really deep internal wounds that make getting out feel almost impossible. You know, a huge reason the pain lasts so long is simply because of the delay in knowing what's going on. First, there's the delayed diagnosis. You don't even have a name for what you're experiencing. And then there's a delay in understanding the messed up rules of their game, because they're playing by a playbook that just makes no sense to a normal, empathetic person.
And this whole toxic environment is the perfect breeding ground for something called a trauma bond. It's this incredibly powerful emotional chain that links you to your abuser. It gets forged in this relentless cycle of abuse, followed by these tiny little crumbs of kindness or affection. And that little bit of reward just keeps you hooked, always hoping things will finally get better.
And this is the loop that plays in your head, right? It's the voice that keeps you stuck. Your brain, just trying to make sense of it all, grabs onto those few good moments. It's a survival mechanism, whispering, see, it wasn't all bad, which makes it so much harder to face the awful reality of the whole picture.
But okay, let's be honest. What was the real price you paid for those beautiful moments? They were bought with insults, with being devalued, with constant lies, with relentless emotional abuse, and sometimes even physical abuse. When you lay out the full cost like that, those good times suddenly don't seem so beautiful anymore.
And here's the crucial thing to understand. That feeling of missing them, it's a kind of false nostalgia. You don't actually miss the person who hurt you. You miss the mask they wore. You miss the character they played in the beginning to lure you in. That person, they were never real to begin with.
So that's why this is all so complicated. It's not just one puzzle to solve. It's more like one of those Russian nesting dolls. A maze inside of a maze, inside of another one. You've got the maze of their lies, the maze of the trauma bond, the maze of your own self-doubt, and trying to find your way out of all of them at the same time is just completely overwhelming. Okay, so we've walked through the maze. We've seen the blueprint. We've seen the tactics. So what good does it do to finally understand the rules of this twisted game? So to just wrap it all up, the healing process gets delayed for three main reasons. You have the external tactics, the constant manipulation. You have the deep internal wounds, the trauma bonds and the mental gymnastics. And then you have what you could call the fog of war, that long, confusing period where you don't even realize you're in a fight for your life. And look, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. The fact that it's hard to leave, the fact that healing takes so long, that is not a personal failure.
It is a designed feature of this type of abuse. It's proof of how well the maze was built, not how weak you are.
Just acknowledging the maze, its architect, and its rules, that's the first most massive step you can take. It's the moment you're finally handed a map to the territory you've been lost in for so long. And having that map leads you to the most important question of all. Okay, now that I finally understand the maze, where's the exit?